Funk, back for more news. This time, again with the Russian news. I'm always on the Russian stuff. Afghanistan, the mother of all battles, is poised to begin. NATO's getting ready for massive troop surge in the Helmand province. People, tens of thousands of people, are leaving the area because they know it's going to be a massive fight. The short and skinny of this whole thing is whatever words they're going to throw at you, it's more or less A, about control, and B, about the opium crops. That's part of the reason we're in Afghanistan. That's part of the reason we want the entire area, oil and the drug trade. They're saying the Taliban has sneered at NATO's warning to move away or lay down your arms in Helmand province, which is the center of the drugs trade, like it says here, which finances their operations, and they promise a bloodbath. Operation Moshtarak, together in Dari, is about to be unleashed by NATO. It's about to be the largest counterinsurgency operation since the campaign began in 2001. 15,000 NATO and Afghan troops plus special forces are poised to attack a force of around 1,000 Taliban fighters. They've been told lay down your arms or leave, but they're not gonna. They don't care. You know, they fought this long and they fought for how many years, and they're just gonna put them down because NATO said something about it. I like to point out this picture. This guy here, while it may look like maybe some art picture, like, oh, I'm gonna get a picture of the soldier standing by the opium crops. Not at all. This guy's at work. I'll bet it. Nice. They got to waste our military guarding their drug crops. They're saying this is going to be a critical moment in Afghanistan, where the Taliban is gaining increasing momentum, and increased engagement on the battlefield is causing more civilian casualties. That really doesn't matter to them, aside from the fact that it's going to kill their public opinion. People already don't agree with the war, and just killing civilians really ain't going to help. NATO's been in Afghan since '01. A war whose cost estimated around 252.5 billion USD. Frustrated by the Taliban being able to gain control and sustain control more regularly in increasing areas of the country, NATO commanders asked for more troops. The first surge of 21,000 arrived last March. Engagements have escalated rather than decreased. Casualties have reached record proportions. Meanwhile, the Taliban's managed to secure a foothold in every region where majority population is Pashtun, and they've expanded from the south and east of Afghanistan into the center and north. That would be all four directions. Despite the fact that combat operations by NATO increased by 55%, airstrikes by 39%, and the number of bombs dropped per month 460% increase. Amazing. In 2009, the Taliban killed twice the number of NATO troops that were killed in '08. So this is really just leading down a path of there's no point. Everyone's dying. We're losing people on our side. They're losing people on their side. What is the point? They're saying right here the Taliban has learned how to engage with NATO and avoid confrontations in which they are heavily outgunned. They have learned basically to retreat and inflict as many casualties as possible on what is seen as an invading foreign force. Which, whether we're right, they're right, I'm right, you're right, fact of the matter is we are on their land. If Saddam had turned to us and said, okay, Bush, you start throwing away your weapons, I want to see them in the trash by next week, or we're coming to get you, what the hell would we do? Or if they said, hey, we're coming to get whatever crops it is you have that we want, and we'll do it by force if you don't hand it to us. Civilian casualties to do nothing to gain the hearts and minds of the local pop. Uh, Civilian casualties provide more fuel for the Taliban, whose opium dollars provide in many areas the only alternative to abject and endemic poverty. 60% of Afghanistan's population of 27 million live below poverty, on less than $1 per day. That's US. Per capita income's 420 US dollars. The literacy rate's lower than 25%. Life expectancy is 43, and 13% have access to decent water. And third, as soldiers, the Taliban have learned to undo at night what NATO does during the day when they are passive farmers. And as NATO casualties rise, so does the war wariness of the populations. In the countries that have to foot the bill, the studies on morale in the U.S. military forces reported a drop of very high morale to just 5.7% in 2009, while public opinion has dropped down to 39%. The scenario is not much better in Britain. And fifth, where and what is the exit strategy? How can NATO forces extricate themselves when on one hand they are trying to build a strong centralized armed force in Afghanistan, while at the same time equip and pay off warlords and tribal militias? The answer to all the questions they're saying is there is no exit strategy. Great care has been taken to guarantee that there are enough insurgents alive, armed and fighting in Afghanistan to ensure that the fight continues for many years to come. That's a very important sentence, because as long as the government's been doing this shit, they've been pulling little maneuvers, paying. Bin Laden got his money from the government. Hussein was propped up by the United States government. One of the Ayatollahs, I'm not exactly 100% on my history, so I'm not going to name any more names, but I do know that we put our money into them. Sustainably, blah, 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 blah. Afghanistan is, after all, the country whose Taliban government received an offer of billions of dollars in 98 from the U.S. to build a pipeline to channel Central Asian energy resources through to the, quote, big ally, Pakistan. One look at U.S. military bases in the area, virtually encircling the Islamic Republic of Iran, while providing a useful foothold on the border of a growing PR, China, and a Pakistan which threatens to spiral down into chaos. That is the strategic picture. That I don't even know what to say about it. We just keep throwing troops at this, and we just keep having problems. I don't understand why we even bother. If none of the U.S. people, none of the military, if none of the civilians on any side agrees with this war, what is the point? Why are we here? Why are we there? I'm sorry. I don't know. I'll try to remember to put the link in the thing. So just rate, sub, friend, do all that, comment, just talk amongst yourselves, I guess.